What is going on, Washington fans? Breaking news. Happy Friday. Just got up not too long ago out here in Texas to some good news. It's been a good week for Washington fans. And that is that Washington has finally, they're the first. It's just we've been kind of anticipating it after that Black Monday of all the news rolling out so fast, all these interviews and everything going on. It's always been Adam Peters, and it is officially Adam Peters. That's right, Cody. Adam Peters is the new GM for the Washington Commanders, and this is what we've been saying all along. And it felt good to hear other mainstream media talk about it as well and agree with a lot of us, like including myself. Washington was the place to be for a GM, and now even more so head coach. I'm going to talk about that for a second as well. But Adam Peters, assistant GM for the 49ers, it's been well known. You know, have a lot of people over in the 49ers that cover them really well. Love the 49ers organization. I mean, that's been the thought process and the prediction all along, is that Adam Peters was going to be the guy. Now, the small detail, Adam Schefter says we were hiring him as our GM. This is something I've talked about throughout the week. People are saying, what's the difference between a head of football ops and a GM? And it can be the same thing, but it can also be different. So that's one thing I'm really interested to see coming up, is how they really title everything. Because if you look at John Lynch over at the 49ers, he's both. He's the president or head of football ops / GM, which, like I said, you can do pretty much everything: salary cap, trades, contract negotiations. GM's usually in control of the scouting department. So you know, the whole draft. So like when I'm at the Senior Bowl, I see all the GMs walking around. I see all the coaches. I see all the scouts walking around. When I'm at the draft, same thing. You know, they're in their room together. They're talking about who to get. They're talking about big boards and stuff like that. But then also GMs are in control of coaching. So if they want to make any coaching changes, you know, head coach, stuff like that, the GM and the head of football ops can be the same thing, or it can be different. There is not like a set rule book saying like, oh, this role has to do these responsibilities and such and so on and so on. That's not how it is. My guess is that Adam Peters is going to be like the head guy. It's just going to be GM. He's going to do everything. And I firmly believe that he's going to hire a assistant GM. And this is going to get a lot of people mad, but it could be Martin Mayhew, because they have that connection with the 49ers. He's still technically here. Well, I guess now he's technically gone, because he was just still here as the GM. And now Adam Peters takes that over. Jerome says Mike McDonald would be a great addition. I want to say there's a lot going on right now. It's where it sounds like that Ben Johnson is going to be the guy. And that's crazy, because we can't really do any in-person interviews, but it just sounds like, and when the league talks, people love to talk in the league. That's one thing I've come to realize. Like I said, at these events, when you're talking to agents, you're talking to some people, even just running to people at the airport, people love to talk. And it's come out all of a sudden, like now that Adam Peters is the guy. You have JP Finley saying Ben Johnson coming next is my guess. Jeremy Fowler saying some league circles are watching a potential pairing of Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson with newly appointed GM Adam Peters in Washington. Commanders now have a lengthy head coaching search. And then Jonathan Jones says keep a close eye on Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson for the Commanders job. He's wanted by a lot of teams. So when people start talking, it's not just people's, gut feeling. There's a well-known pulse of this team around the league right now, and Adam Peters was the guy that a lot of people were talking about. Josh Harris wastes no time, and I mean, what was it yesterday? He narrowed it down to Ian Cunningham from the Bears and Adam Peters from the 49ers. Finally get it done. We've just all been dying for this to happen. Like once this domino falls, the rest kind of falls in place. Bradley says, bro, I'm legit crying right now. This is what we've wanted. Like this is exactly what we've wanted. And Zoe Life No Life says feels great getting what we want, not the backup option. That's what we're used to. Like, oh, let's just settle. Like everyone else gets hired and we'll just get like what's left over. And like we just usually settle, but like we are now the standard. Guys, I want y'all to realize the draft capital that Washington has this season and the salary cap capital that Washington has this season. PFF put up a really good chart that I showed the other day. Not too long ago. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's in here somewhere through all my posts and stuff on X. Obviously, a lot going on. I'm an Alabama fan, so prayers needed on that as well. But good news. Here it is. So PFF does a offseason resource composite table made by Arjun Menon out of PFF, and it just basically shows like the offseason resources between the cap percentile, draft percentile, final composite score. Washington has a perfect 100. We are projected to have the number one salary cap in the NFL. And then draft wise, I think we're right at first or second for total. Obviously, the Bears can change that if they trade back, whatever. But as of right now, Washington has the perfect offseason resource available. And now we have the GM. That's why I was talking to y'all. Everyone's freaking out around the trade deadline. Like, Josh, what's going on? Why did we trade Montez Sweat? Why did we trade Chase Young? Oh, it's because they don't want to be here. Ron's going to be gone. Had nothing to do with that. It's about draft capital. And then it was also not spending money on a singular player that, we could trade for resources, but then also have all the salary cap. So we could be this attractive place for a guy like Adam Peters to come. That's always been this is a long-term, like Josh Harris is playing chess. Back then when we were just throwing darts at the wall and hoping Dan Snyder was going to make somewhat of a smart decision, and it never happened. This is what Josh Harris has wanted to do all along. And I told you, don't freak out, guys. It's chill. Just wait. He's getting all these resources. He's building up this offer like, hey, Adam Peters, you want to come here because we have all of this. We have the draft capital for you. We have the salary cap capital for you. We want you to get your head coach. We want you to get your defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, whoever it is, assistant GM. Jerome said Adam Peters is a great hire. Who is assistant GM? That's a great question. So like I said, that's one thing that's been going around right now. Just trying to read up on tweets and stuff. Everything's freaking out right now. But I think Rap said something. Gosh, where is it? Notifications are going crazy. Appreciate all the love, by the way, man. It's so funny. Like Monday and today, people are like, yo, Josh, get up. Breaking news. Like I'm up, guys. Guys, I'm ready. I've been ready for this. I'm up. Oh man. Y'all blowing up my Twitter. I mean, this is ridiculous, guys. All right, here it is. Ian Rappaport said new Commanders GM Adam Peters will now be tasked with deciding on the structure and build leadership underneath him. So regardless you want to call him, like I said, some teams have a head of football ops, some just have a GM, some have both. And it just sounds like Adam Peters is going to be the top guy. Obviously, you have Josh Harris and all of them. But when it comes to football operations and stuff like that, Adam Peters is going to be the number one guy. It's not like someone else is going to get hired above him. It's not like we're waiting to hire a head of football ops. I think he's just going to be a general manager, which is going to do everything, which is great. That's what I've wanted. Now, like I said before, a home run would be, if they were to hire him as like a head of football ops and then hire like an Ian Cunningham and get both of them in here and can Cunningham be the GM. Regardless, I'm fine with getting Adam Peters. That's the thing I said back on, what was it, Tuesday? If you want to get a guy like Adam Peters here, you have to offer him the top gig. You can't just say, oh, just come here as a GM and we'll work on a few things. No, he's got to be the top guy because John Lynch and the 49ers, they did not want to lose this guy. They wanted him to move up. They wanted Lynch to move up, and then they wanted Adam Peters to take over as a GM role and let, Lynch be the head of football ops. So I told y'all, like, if you want to bring this guy in here, you offer him the top gig. Let's see, Zoe Life No Life says, I love Ben Johnson. I think he will ultimately get the job, but Peters was in the same building as Slowick, so I wonder if that plays a factor. Yeah, but like I said, right now, it sounds like there is a lot of smoke that Ben Johnson is like the head guy, which, like I said, like we haven't even brought him in here for an interview yet. We haven't done anything. We've interviewed one guy, and that was Anthony Weaver, virtually. You can't do any in-person stuff until after the divisional round. So the head coaching hire is going to take a little bit, guys. I know that Mayo got picked up today by the Patriots. Love that, by the way. They had that in place. He was already on the team. He just got elevated. Like, that's allowed to move fast. We're going to have to be patient with the rest of this. Now, with that being said, Ben Johnson, head coach, bring in Anthony Weaver for DC. I think the only way that works is because he's technically the assistant head coach for Harbaugh right now in Baltimore. I mean, I could see that. Saying he's a defensive coordinator / assistant head coach here in Washington, moving up I mean, I think that's a jump he might be willing to do. Obviously, if they win a Super Bowl this year or something, it makes it a little bit easier because you're like, all right, we won the ring. I want the next thing. Um, let's see. Nikki Javala, who's excellent, by the way. There's a handful of local media people I like. There's not a lot. I like JP. I love John Kime. I think Nikki's one of the best, though. She just said Adam Peters is one of, but not the first front office executive hire by Josh Harris since he purchased the team last July. Craig Fisher was named CFO in August, and Eugene Shen was hired as Senior VP of Football Strategy in October. As the lead of football decision makers, Peters certainly the most prominent. So, yes, this isn't like the first big hire for Josh Harris. Obviously, he's been working some things throughout the season, and obviously with Bob Myers and that connection, the UCLA connection, getting him in here. Was that the reason why? Because he has that connection with Adam Peters? I don't know, but if it worked out, then great. Josh Harris is absolutely cooking. What's going on, Radar? I'm 1 for 1 so far. Keep it going, man. We need it. Everybody's hype. You should be hyped up. And Chris, if you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. I'm excited. I think this has been, like I said, this is the biggest offseason in Washington history. I'm 30 years old. And by the way, guys, this season is going to be crazy. I just turned on memberships for the channel. So if you want to be a member, it's only $2.99 a month. I'm going to the draft. I'm going to the Senior Bowl. I'm going to be doing a lot of exclusive stuff. I'm going to be doing just some member-only videos, like breakdowns on players in the draft, breakdowns on free agents. I'll, look at, whoever he hires head coach, take a look at their offense and their defense or whoever it is, and really break down some like in-depth stuff for some members. And then I'm also going to be giving away 2 jerseys while I'm at the draft for members only. So if you're a member, sign up today. I just turned it on this week. So from now to April, you can get entries towards this giveaway for 2 jerseys, whether it's somebody new or it's Terry or whatever. But sign up for that membership. Like I said, it's only $2.99. I plan on doing so much content for y'all. Like I said, especially at the Senior Bowl, when I'm talking to these players. Last year was a ton of fun. Had a lot of good conversations. Players telling me like what they were hearing from Washington. I remember talking to Steve Avila, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I've had really good conversations with Washington. I think that like they definitely want me." And then it sounds like on draft night it came out that we tried to trade up and get him. So just a lot of really good intel. Jim says, happy for the news. We couldn't lose here. Really, both him and Cunningham are great. Yeah, and I just want to say one thing. People like, of course, there's the negative naysayers. I'm not going to throw out any names like Dom, who blocked me, by the way, a while back, thankfully. People are like, oh, well, why does Josh Harris need help finding a GM? Or why would we want Adam Peters? He's the one that traded and got Trey Lance. First off, you have no idea who wanted Trey Lance. It could have easily been Lynch. It's not like Adam Peters just came out and said, guys, this is what we want. It could have been Kyle Shanahan. You have no idea who wanted that decision. And secondly, what tells you is that they made all these trades of first-round picks to trade up and get Trey Lance. He sucked. He left. And they are still in the playoffs and one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl in the NFC. The team did not skip a beat. So for every negative you want to throw out, I'm just telling you guys, Adam Peters is a great talent evaluator. That is the one thing. I've seen these videos of him talking about George Kittle before he drafted him. You want to talk about trading for Christian McCaffrey. Their 5th-round draft picks have hit recently. You talking about Dre Greenlaw, like I said, George Kittle. There's another one I'm blanking on right now. But just big-time starters in the 5th round, these late-round picks. Adam Peters knows how to evaluate, and that's going to be super big. And that's why I think it is important that he got that GM role, because like I said, they are head of the scouting department, head of the evaluating process, which is something I'm going through right now on the Scouting Academy. I'm learning from guys like Louis Riddick, former GMs, former head coaches. This is something I'm super excited with, guys. Like I plan on like being so serious about this. I'm starting with wide receivers and then offensive lines next for me. Merle, appreciate you, man. First member on the show. I'll have to send you something. Just because you're the first, might send you a little something. We'll talk. You follow me on X. We have great conversations all the time. But appreciate you, man. Like I said, it's going to be a crazy offseason. Not just the hires, but the building of this team. Like I'm going all in this offseason on this channel. The goal is 5K subs by the draft, and I think we can absolutely hit that. Let's see. Jim says, now let's get Mike McDonald as head coach, maybe Brian Greasy as offensive coordinator. That's another thing to talk about as well. Sorry guys, just catching up on stuff, Senior Bowl, and then obviously in the NFL. Twitter notifications are the best thing ever. Oh man, Brian Greasy as offensive coordinator. He's the quarterback coach right now with the 49ers. I don't think he's the passing game coordinator. I think that's somebody else. But still, especially if we do get a rookie quarterback, which we are, stop tagging me in these things about Sam Howell having the same stats as Peyton Manning as a rookie season, by the way. This is not 1980, guys. Stop tagging me in that shit. We're not keeping Sam Howell's quarterback one next season. I'm tired of it. It's either going to be Drake May, Caleb Williams, and there's a very slight chance of Jalen Daniels. But I think if you had put a gun in my head right now, it's going to be Drake May. And I'm fine with that. I'm higher on Drake May than a lot of y'all are just because of the North Carolina bias. Doug said, I knew it would be Adam Josh just based on relationship with Bob Myers and Mark Mayhew to a degree. Yeah, and I'm glad you did put in that Mark Mayhew thing. And that's another thing, too. If he says, guys, I want to keep Mark Mayhew as assistant GM, I've said this all along. I'm going to trust whatever they want to do. At some point, and there's a lot that's slowly been coming out, I'm not going to talk negative about people. I've been trying to get better about that, except Dom LaVaro. He's a piece of shit. But from what's come out, it sounds like, maybe it wasn't all Martin Mayhew. It sounds like Ron, the GM, really just took over and was really worried about what people were thinking. I was reading an article saying like he was just trying to win the press conferences. Like that's bad. You want to talk about Stokes, the talent evaluator on the team, another guy who was pounding the table for Forbes. Like, say what you want. Like, I'm not gonna be on here roasting Forbes, anything like that. I got his jersey. I pray to God he turns out good. And you want to talk about, like, was it Martin Mayhew's decision? There's a lot of bad. And I just want to say with Mayhew, with Hurney, with Rivera, with Stokes, whatever. It's been a lot of bad. But if Peter says, look, guys, I know this guy. Roma Dunze has officially declared for the draft. It has nothing to do with us. If he says, look, guys, I like Martin Mayhew. I trust what he wants to do. We're on the same page. I think him as my assistant GM works. Then I'm going to say, okay, I have no idea any other assistant GMs. I don't see this, but maybe an assistant GM out there, maybe Glenn Cook, someone like that, could make that lateral jump because they want to be under a guy like Peterson. They want these resources like the draft capital, the salary cap. Washington is at a low, like we're at rock bottom right now. JP said it today. We had the worst points differential in the NFL last year. That's more than the Panthers, who got shut out the last 2 games of the season. That's bad. We were at a rock bottom when it comes to results. So maybe an assistant GM will say, guys, like, they have a good run somewhere. Like I said, say Glenn Cook, whatever. I don't think Ian Cunningham would come here as assistant GM under Peters, but someone else might make that lateral move just to say they want to be a part of this, because that's the situation we are in right now. Come on, bro. This is a home run, says Jerome Peel. Washington fans can never just be happy. This is great, but if we would have gotten 2 GMs instead of 1, give me a break. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't really expect it. Like I said, it would have been a home run for us to get both of those guys. But in all honesty, my number 1 pick has always been Adam Peters. Give him whatever position he wants and just let him build this thing up, because he knows how to handle the salary cap. He knows how to evaluate those talents, not just the first, second, third round, but those late round picks. He's got some really good starters, especially on that defense over the last few, like 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. That guy's hitting on it. C said, super stoked, winning mindset finally. Teddy Strongman, good get. By the way, look at us, man. We're blowing up. There's like 200 people on this live right now on a random ass Friday morning. This is how starved we are for greatness, and it's finally happening. Merle, appreciate you, man. Like I said, first member, appreciate you, Merle. Risu, Ari5SE says might join the membership. Do it. I'm telling you guys. I will be doing draft breakdowns coming up. Like I said, I'll be doing exclusive interviews with players at the Senior Bowl. Like I said, I'll be doing some cool drafts. Like, it's not going to be just serious stuff. I'm going to do, like I said, film breakdowns, projections, free agents, contract stuff, whatever, trade scenarios, maybe John Allen. I got some good stuff cooking up next week for that. And then, like I said, behind the scenes stuff at the draft, maybe do some cool vlogs, stuff like that, some fun stuff. When I go to games next season, training camp, like, y'all know I'm out there. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm out there. What's going on, man? This is a red letter day for HTCC, and this is the first building block of restoring the foundation of the franchise. Absolutely. This is the big domino. This is the first one. So, like, once this was it, and I think that's why Josh Harrison, we've seen that It was thorough but quick process, which is great. That's exactly what I wanted. We wanted to get this done because now he's going to start building up those underneath pieces because, like I said, guys, you have about a week or two, depending on the teams and the results of, who loses in these playoff games. You have about a week or two until these in-person coaching interviews start to happen. You want to have that front office in place. Josh Harris said, look, guys, Peters, we're going to get you here, guy. We brought you out to Miami. We showed you the lights. We're going to be out here on the jet skis with DJ Khaled. Like, we out here in Miami interviewing y'all, not up here in the DMV where it's storming and stuff. Like, we're going to get this done. And we want you to build your front office, build the rest of it, figure out what you want to get done in the next week or two. And then we're going to find your head coach and your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator. Maybe it's going to be EB, but I highly doubt it. 49ers have been great at drafting linebackers, which happens to be one of our greatest weaknesses. Yeah, great at drafting. I mean, even Al Shahir, who was their depth guy last year, got sent out to the Titans, and he's a starter there. Really wanted him last offseason. Especially with mid-late UDFAs. Also, how important is a combine with QBs. I'm fine with Mayor Williams. I'm going to be doing a lot of quarterback talk. I'm going to have some big guests on. I'm going to have some, like I said, tape breakdown. I've got about 7 games of Drake May in 2023. I've got about 7 or 8 games of Drake May in 2022. That's why y'all want to join this membership, because I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to show y'all stuff y'all don't have access to, the all 22, the holy grail of college football film. And I'm going to be breaking down everything. And like I said, guys, I signed up for the Scouting Academy. I'm going to finish that up this time. Quarterbacks is sadly last, but I have a good feel of watching quarterbacks. But it's just going to give you an insight of how scouts and GMs and these head guys in the NFL watch film, what they see. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. It's going to be a great offseason. What's going on, Rio? I know Rio's hype. Probably took a shirt off and ran around outside for a little bit. If Rio's anything like me, I'm about to pop some bottles, maybe light a cigar for Adam Peters. I can only celebrate but so much because my heart's broken for Nick Saban, man. Y'all know I'm going through it right now. Roll Tide. Let's go. We are lit. Rio, it's going to be the biggest offseason. If you're a Washington fan, you should be excited. Yes, Al Capone. I love the name, by the way. Nice and quick. Josh Harris is swift. Josh Harris wastes no time. And that's one thing I like about Josh Harris. He's done this with the 76ers. He's done this with the New Jersey Devils. What's going on? Merle says, look at Brian Anders from the from the Rams assistant GM. They work together with the Broncos. Absolutely. That's one thing. I'm really, really interested to see who he brings in as assistant GM. And that's the thing we're going to hear about a lot now. And it's not like a set in stone. Like I said, there's not like certain spots you have to fill in. But if I had to guess, I'm going to say Washington is going to hire assistant GM. Maybe it is Mayhew. Maybe it isn't. What's going on? Another new member, second member. Like I said, open this up this week. Appreciate you. You're not going to regret it. This is going to be the best offseason, y'all. I'm going to be giving y'all so much content, exclusive stuff. And both of y'all, Merle and Zoe Life, No Life, like I said, I'm going to be giving away 2 jerseys at the draft this year. Doesn't matter who it is. I don't care. Sean Taylor, Terry McLaurin, Drake May, when we draft him, whatever. So every month you're a member, you are going to get an entry to the giveaway for a jersey. So Zoe Life, No Life, Merle, y'all are members. If y'all stay members until April, that is 4 entries for both of y'all. So if you sign up in January, it's the most entries you can get for a jersey. Like I said, I'm going to be giving away 2. I'll be out there in Detroit. Got me a house in Canada for the draft. I'm going to be doing it big. Y'all know I don't play with the draft. Justin DeSantos wondering who the team president's going to be. And I just want to address this too. I love Jason Wright. Jason Wright is my guy. I was the first person to meet Jason Wright. It was at the draft in Cleveland. Was nothing but love. Wanted to hang out after the draft. Got to spend some time with them. Can't say too much. Mike Norvell staying in Tallahassee as Florida State head coach. Good. I want Kalen. But Jason Wright is a genuine good dude. Y'all also have to realize like what he had to do when he got here and what he had to deal with. And I know y'all want to talk about the name change. You want to talk about everything, but that was not a Jason Wright thing. Jason Wright did what he could do with the handcuffs of a Dan Snyder. And I don't get the Jason Wright slander because half of y'all don't see the business side of stuff that Jason Wright actually does. Rio can agree with me on this. Every time I've seen Jason Wright, it's been nothing but love. You know, I can't say this for everybody, but there's a lot of people that were involved on those Zoom calls when the name change and stuff happened. And luckily I was one of them. Like the second time I met Jason Wright was on Zoom talking about the future of our franchise. I don't take that lightly. There's a lot of, and it's not just because I did content, anything like that. There was a lot of people, just season ticket holders, fans that were involved with that process. There's other people that got to go to the stadium and do these videos. Rio was one of them. So I had no complaints about that. And by the way, I'm not worried about the name right now. I'm not worried about a rebrand. Don't ask me about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in like 27, 28 when we get the new stadium. Not worried about it right now. I'm just trying to win. I just want to talk about this because Jason Wright is a name that comes up all the time. I told him, like, we talk not every day, but we talk often, and I love Jason. I've told him in person. I said, dude, no matter what happens, I pray that you stay here because you're just a good, genuine guy. He loves the team. He loves his fan base, even the ones that talk shit about him. Jason Wright is a genuine good dude. And I think with the ownership of Josh Harris, and I've never seen him smile more than the way he smiled when Josh Harris bought this team. And I'm not going to speak for him at all either, but I have full belief that under the ownership of Josh Harris, with these new GMs, with this new front office, with Bob Myers here, with Spielman doing whatever they're going to do, I think Jason Wright is in a good position to succeed at his job. I have nothing bad to say about him. I pray he stays here. Shout out to Niner Gang. Love Niner Gang. Like I said, I got a lot of people. Javi, Jason Aponte, Steph with 49 carats. A lot of good 49er content creators that I keep up with, that I'll be linking up with at the Senior Bowl too. Honestly, the 49ers probably have my favorite content. Grant Cohn's hilarious. Like, the 49ers media and fan-made content base is the best in the business, in my opinion. I'll put it over us. I like what I do, but at the same time, the 49ers just do it perfectly. So Niner Gang, shout out to y'all. Appreciate it. Have no idea who's going to be the GM for y'all now. But we're blessed. We are blessed. R Young says, great news. So it begins. LFG. Let's fucking go. So Life says, nice doing business with you. Yeah, not the best trade for them. Excuse me. But I'll take it. Just says, I'm good with name and Jason Wright. Misword by me. Wonder who's. Yeah, no, it wasn't on you. It was just the people. I've seen so many people on X and Twitter, whatever you want to call it, on X saying like, oh, Jason Wright's got to go. He fumbled this. He did this, blah, 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 blah. Like, Justin, you're one of the good ones. Like, that's fine. Like, if you like Jason, cool. If you don't, like, that's your own opinion too. It's just so funny to me how people are like so ready to get rid of Jason Wright just because he's a Dan Snyder guy. Like, no, he had one of the hardest jobs here at the same time. What's going on? Appreciate coming by. The chat's been popping. Jason Wright's fine with me too. Best to move on from Mayhew, but seemed like a puppet GM for Herney and Rivera. Also, does Peters keep the scouts for 1 year before overhaul? See, scouting is a weird thing because I could see them. They're not going to just completely overhaul all the scouts. You can't do that. Like, especially right now. Like, but if I could see him bringing over some of his scouts from the 49ers, I'd say during the hiring cycle of scouts, this is something I'm learning right now. It seems like, excuse me, about 85 to 90% are just scouts from other teams. It's not like they're just hiring a bunch of new random guys who are getting their first opportunity. Yes, Ryan, I'm not too fond of all the scouts either, but at the same time, like I said, it seemed like Ron Rivera, the GM side, just really took things over when it came to the draft. But I could see him bringing over some of his scouts, and you're not going to hear news like breaking news. We just got regional scout of the Northwest Central from the 49. You're not going to hear about it. Maybe you'll hear something like, oh, Adam Peters, new scouting director, or new, player personnel, whatever. Take over like Herney's job, in my opinion, is done. I think Herney's going to be done. I think he's going to find a new VP, new, player personnel guy, whatever. So you'll hear about that, but you're not going to hear it like, oh, Washington has hired 3 new scouts from the East region. Like, that's not going to happen. You might hear him like saying like, oh, he's bringing over some scouts from the 49ers. Cool. But I don't see like an overhaul. Like I said, Stokes is the one I'm watching at. He's like the head guy. And like I said, as GM, you are now in charge of the scouting department. You're now in charge of the draft. And obviously, this isn't like I'm going to get here and I have no idea who any players are in the draft. I have no idea what my big board is. That's not how this works. Scouting season is all year long, especially with the transfer portal, especially with new recruits and stuff coming in, especially with guys with going back to school. Scouting season is all year long. It's not like people say, oh, the season's over. Let's start watching some film on these college guys that we have no idea what's going on. They're at games every week. Like I said, you have guys that cover each region. You have guys that cover certain positions. It's not just like let's throw something at the wall and hope we draft somebody good. So like Adam Peters, absolutely. Like I said, especially as an evaluating mindset that he has, he's going to be plugged in. Like he's ready to go. He's got his list. I guarantee you, he looked at this roster and they said it was a long meeting with him. Once I saw that, I was like, all right, they were in there cooking. He was looking at the roster. He was saying, I think we should get Caleb or Drake May. Or like, we need better secondary. Like, I can help y'all's linebackers. Offensive line's awful. Like, this guy would fit really good for the scheme. Like, this is what I want from our head coach. This is the kind of head coach I want. This is the kind of roster I want to build. So if they were in there really cooking for a long time, cool. But I think he's ready to go. I'm super excited about this. I'm not going to stay on the live too long. There's only so much to talk about, but we need to celebrate this because this is something we haven't had in a long time. We haven't been able to say, like, guys, we got the top guy. And he was the top guy when it came to GM, head of football ops, whatever you want to call it. Adam Peters was number one. We got number one. That's step one. So the next thing is going to be coming out in the next few days. And once again, Josh Harris moves fast, so get ready. I might go live again. But we're going to start hearing some names of assistant GM. I hope Adam does a press conference in the next 48 hours to ride this high that we're on and just tell us his vision, tell us what he wants to do, whatever. They've been transparent. Drum says, Joe Ortiz, assistant GM would be great. It would be amazing. But once again, I don't know which assistant GMs are willing to make that lateral move, except that working with Adam Peters is great. Having new ownership, a new stadium coming up in the future, and the draft capital and salary cap, like I've told y'all, that we have for this offseason, it's really intriguing. You don't want to go to the Chargers where you're like, holy smokes, guys, we've got to cut a lot of guys. Austin Eckler's gone. You have to decide on some big name guys on that defense. You have to make some big time salary cap decisions. And then you might not have the best draft capital, or you're looking at like a team like the Saints where they just live in salary cap, like poverty. Like having that salary cap and having that draft capital to build a team that you want. Who wouldn't want that? You're not taking over these giant contracts. That's what I'm saying. Like it made no sense to pay Chase Young or Montez Sweat these giant deals. And someone gets here and they're like, oh my God, you made Montez Sweat a top 5 paid defensive end, and now I have to take that on. I have to take on that financial responsibility. I have to build my team around that. Is he playing good for the Bears right now? Yeah. We don't know if the GM wanted him to be here or if he wants to go get Josh Allen from the Jaguars or Brian Burns from the Panthers. Let them build the team. That's what I was saying, guys. I'm like, whatever, they're gone. I'm excited for what's coming up here in the end of January or beginning of January, and then going to February, March, April with the draft. Merle says, I still can't believe it. I know, man. I'm just watching my phone for the next news to drop because they don't waste no time. But I appreciate y'all stopping by. I'll go live if anything else breaks. Like I said, assistant GM's probably gonna be next. Ellison, or let me hit Todd first, says hire Jesse Manor as DC and Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. I strongly think Harbaugh is going to the Chargers, and I think the Raiders are going to keep AP, which they should. Ellison says watch Slowick for head coach job. I don't think so. I don't think Slowick is as coveted by this team as people think. Like I said, it seems like Ben Johnson is like the unanimous favorite. And a lot of people are already saying like it's gonna happen. Like Ben Johnson's gonna be the guy. Do you think the Commanders will change to 4-3 like the 49ers are? That's a question I've gotten a lot of too. So that's something, Jerome. I'm going to do a video on, so maybe it's a member only video that I don't think they will. First off, a lot of teams don't even run their base defense anymore. It's very uncommon. Not saying that they're going to just line up and random stuff all the time. You have like dime packages, you have big dime, you have nickel, big nickel. You have a lot of different things. A lot of teams don't really even line up in their base packages anymore. But I think they're going to keep what they have. I think they're going to pursue guys like Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Bryce Huff is another one. I would love Bryce Huff. Build that D line the right way. Like I said, I'm doing a video on John Allen on the 18th for Bleacher Report. When is that? A couple more days. You got a couple days for that one. That's a good one though. Because there's two places I'm trading John Allen to, and so be on the lookout for that. But I don't think they changed the defense up. I think they're going to keep what they have, but I think they're going to have a real coach in here. And I think they're going to get some real talent in here. There's some good pieces. I like what I saw out of Quan Martin to end the season. I like what I saw out of KJ Henry from the edge spot. Like, I'm fine if they just throw a bag at one free agent on the edge and then roll with like a KJ Henry or, some depth guys, rotate in, whatever. Like, I'm cool with that. The draft is really deep at edge rushing too. So, but I don't think he's going to change the defense. Appreciate your Hail Scans new member. If y'all haven't heard, it's only $2.99 to be a new membership of the team. Guys, I'm going to take this so serious. I appreciate y'all signing up for the new membership. Like I said, you're going to get exclusive access to videos that other people don't get, breakdowns and detailed stuff. If you're a Washington fan, you're not going to want to miss out on this. Like I said, I'm already got my stuff ready for the Senior Bowl. Everything's packed, ready to go. I'm ready. I've got everything ready for the draft too. Super excited about that. And like I said, you'll be entered for a giveaway for a jersey that I'm doing at the draft. I'm giving away 2 jerseys at the draft, by the way. 2. So appreciate you, Hales. Pat says, how do you feel about Ben Johnson and Caleb? I would love it. I said this the other day, Ben Johnson went to North Carolina. People started showing the video of him and Sam Howell at the Senior Bowl. That was stuff that I was able to see in like person, see how he was able to interact with the quarterbacks and stuff like this. I think Ben Johnson's a very quarterback friendly coach too, because he played quarterback in North Carolina, like I said. But he's also quarterback friendly when it comes to scheme and scheming guys open. And, when you watch the Lions, you don't see guys running, into each other like we did. Nothing against EB, but there's so many plays where I'm like, why is Jahan Dotson and Terry and De'Ami Brown like in the same picture of a zoomed in like replay? Like, what's going on? What's going on? You watch the Lions, there's people on both sidelines, there's wide open zones, there's mesh concepts across the middle. Like I said, he's just really good at scheming guys open. So I think he's going to be great for a rookie quarterback. And I love Caleb. I love Drake May too. I'm not as high on Jaden Daniels, and I'm not going to tell y'all why yet. But I think it's Caleb and Drake at the top, and then it's like Jaden Daniels, tier 2, and then tier 3 is like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy. If he comes out, I don't like JJ McCarthy at all. But yeah, I think Ben Johnson's a really good get for a rookie quarterback. I think it'd be a great marriage, and I think that's a big reason why people are like, guys, watch out for Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson with the Commanders is going to be dangerous. I think it is. If Ben Johnson is the coach, Drake May will be the quarterback. Absolutely. Get that Tar Heel connection strong. And people like PTSD, like, oh, I don't want to know Sam Howell. Drake May is Sam Howell. Drake May is not Sam Howell. He's not the same at all. I was dying for someone to go live and talk about this. Haven't found a channel. I hope Peters comes in and builds a contender. Welcome, Timothy. Welcome to the show. If you're new, Josh Taylor, born and raised in Virginia. Currently live in Austin, Texas. I do work for Bleacher Report covering the team, doing a lot of live streams on the Bleacher Report app as well. So if you don't already, download the Bleacher Report app because I do a lot of live streams on there too. Even though I'm in Texas now, I've only been here since May. Y'all still see me at training camps. Y'all still see me at the games. Y'all still going to see me at the Senior Bowl. Maybe the Combine. Haven't decided yet. Definitely going to be at the draft. So welcome, Timothy. My name is Joshua, but please don't call me Josh. I'm Josh. But like I said, guy, it's it's time for us to build a dynasty. And like I said, I'm an Alabama fan, so that dynasty might be over. Shout out to Nick Saban. I shed some tears for him, but I think this is truly a time for Washington to. It's just a turn of page because of everything that we have. Would love Frankie Louvu. I would too. Who do you think falls to us? I think Drake May. Like I said, if you put a gun to my head, Drake May's the pick. Oh, hey, what's going on, Big Dap? Shout out to Dap, man. Follow him. He's super funny. Does great videos, great reaction stuff. You got to bring back the high school reaction videos, man. I love it. You got to come back on here, chop it up. I've had you on the show before, man. I'm sure we'll do some draft stuff together. Get your thoughts. You always know how to act up on here. Always a good time. Shout out to Mikey. Love the picture. Shout out to Caleb Williams. I would love for Caleb, man. I would love for Caleb. I think Caleb's going to be good. I think Caleb's a good, genuine dude. I was watching his Instagram story. My dude building Legos, man. My dude Caleb just chilling. Got his girl at the crib building Legos. Shout out to Caleb, man. He a baller. I will say this. When I went to the Rose Bowl last year, not the Alabama game, thankfully, it's Penn State, Utah. I was like, man, I'm gonna go see the USC Stadium, the LA Coliseum. That place is nice. I could not believe it. The torches were lit all the time. I was like, dude, USC got it made. If you're not out here in USC, you got Caleb living up in the penthouse, living it up big. USC does it big. People are like, why would you ever go? USC does it. I loved USC. I loved LA. I don't think I could ever live in LA, but appreciate you, Mikey. Good things coming to the channel. Drake May is taller, better feet in the pocket than Sam, has similar strengths. Not the same, but I feel like he may be Daniel Jones. I hope not. Heck no, he's not. Daniel Jones has never thrown a ball that looks anything like Drake May. Daniel Jones needs to go to Drake May's camp this offseason so he can learn how to throw. Drake May could teach Daniel Jones a thing or two. Drake May, and I'm telling y'all, I see Justin Herbert and Drake May. And the thing is, Drake May is 21. He does not turn 22 until August, until preseason football, end of August, almost the regular season starts next season. He's still super raw. There's still so much upside to him. His feet can be a little sloppy, but he's only 21. The fact that you see the upside and you want to talk about the upside of Caleb Williams, what he can be, talk about the upside of Drake May too. I love Caleb. I think his upside special, but talk about Drake May too. That's why I'm excited to do a Drake May breakdown. I'm gonna have some big guests on here doing some quarterback film. You're not gonna want to miss it. Like I said, that's probably gonna be some membership only videos. But I like Drake May a lot. I think Drake May would be a franchise guy here, and I think he can turn into Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert stayed at college for a little bit. He played every year. He had that experience coming out of Oregon. That's the one thing I liked about Justin Herbert. He's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit denser frame. But like I said, Drake May is 21. He's gonna build his body out even more. So where he's able to break tackles even more than he already does. Wouldn't be upset with Caleb or May. Absolutely. And like I said, I got people tagging me every day about some Josh. We need to evaluate Sam Howell rolling back another year. No rolling back. I'm excited for the news. Respect from West Michigan. Shout out to West Michigan. Couldn't deal with the cold, but got a lot of good folks up there. Still mad at y'all for beating Alabama. Big Daps drops reactions daily. Let's do some work. I am here in Texas. Shout out to Texas, man. I'm out here in Austin. Supposed to be freezing tomorrow for the first time like ever. Don't see the Bears passing on Caleb, says Merle. Absolutely agree. But they can swerve the expectations and get Marv. And that's the thing I've been telling y'all. Like, the Bears are going to show their hands. They're going to show their hand. They're going to take Caleb or they're not. If they don't want Caleb, then they're going to just keep Fields and they're going to trade back. But if they want him, they're going to take him. It's not like they're like, oh, we're willing to trade it back and then get like Jalen Daniels. Like we're cool with getting Jaden Daniels. No, they're going to take Caleb or they're not going to trade, and they're not going to trade that pick or they're going to trade back. Now, will it be Washington that goes up one spot, or will someone like the Patriots be aggressive and trade up to one spot to get who they want? That's the thing we have to worry about. because the Cardinals, we really wanted the Cardinals. They are at 3 because they're a threat to take Marvin Harrison Jr., but they're at 4. So the Bears can trade back to 3 with the Patriots and still get Marvin Harrison Jr. if that's what they want. They want to run back fields. But if it was vice versa and the Cardinals were there at 3, they couldn't trade back with the Patriots because then they would risk losing out on Marvin Harrison Jr. But things worked out great for the Bears. You see Ryan Poles, he's over there smirking like, we're going to evaluate Justin Fields. We like where we're at. The Bears are in a, you don't talk about us being in a really good position to succeed. The Bears are right there too. They're in a really good position to succeed. So shout out to the Bears. Yeah, the Sam Howell effect really has killed people from just taking off those blinders and watching like, oh, he's a North Carolina quarterback. I don't want Drake May. He is Sam Howell. He's exactly Sam Howell. No, they're not the same. I promise you. They are different quarterbacks. If they hire Cliff Kingsbury, it'll be Caleb. Yeah. And I could see that. Cliff coming in, offensive coordinator, passing coordinator, whatever it is. Drum says May looks like Herbert to me, very shy, quiet leader. Yeah, he does carry his Boston feet to who he is passing to. Strong arm and consistent footwork, but a good arm and solid accuracy all the time. Honestly, really good summary. His feet do get a little sloppy. But like I said, he's working on that, and he's only 21. Give him a year or two, the guy's gonna look like prime Justin Herbert. I love it. Shout out our young new member on YouTube. Appreciate it. Got a lot of big things coming up here on the channel. I've already told y'all about it. But perks wise, man, y'all are going to be living it up. I promise you. Like I said, I'm going to be treating this thing so serious, giving y'all the best content possible. This offseason is going to be the best. It's already the best, and it's going to get even better. Like, if y'all know me, y'all know I'm obsessed with free agency. I'm obsessed with the draft. If we have to trade the whole house for the number 1 pick, I don't agree with it. We can get Drake May and keep the same picks. Yeah. And as of right now, I'm kind of on that too. Of not trading up to 1 because who was it? Jeremy Fowler said like a week or 2 ago that the Bears could get even more of a haul for the number 1 pick than they did last year for, DJ Moore, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and I think it was a third too. They said even if it's a spot or 2, so even if it's pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, the Bears could get like multiple firsts, multiple seconds in a player. If you tell me we're trading John Allen, 2 firsts and 2 seconds to move up to 1, I'm like, guys, I don't know about that one. I might as well sit at 2 and in draft because there's elite talent in this draft. The top 100 of this draft is elite talent. So that's those 2 second-round picks we have are starting caliber guys, whether it's offensive line, corner, wide receiver, which is a big thing I'm going to talk about this offseason. Linebacker, I don't care who it is, edge rusher. Those 2 picks in the top 2nd round are not as important as number 2, but it's good. It's pretty dang important. Pat says Bears getting rid of Fields. I'm still 50-50, man. I think they have to just because Caleb Williams has been the guy. And I think what we're dealing with right now is just an exhaustion of Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall pick last year, and he went back to school. People forget that. He was going to be the number 1 pick last year. He won the Heisman. I know they lost to Tulane, whatever. Who cares? He comes back. Defense is 120th out of 130. It's really bad. Offensive line's not good. They're running the ball a lot more because Marshawn Lloyd's a beast. Receiving corps was pretty dang good. Had some young guys, and then they had Brendan Rice, Taj Washington. Not really much of a tight end game. But then also people don't really talk about, Riley's offense at USC. People don't really talk about, how different it is. Like I said, there's more to talk about with the breakdowns of Caleb, but I think people are kind of like, oh, is Caleb even that good? Just because he's been the number 1 pick for 2 years now. People are just like, kind of over it. Like, he is still the number 1 pick, guys. It's not changing. If it wasn't him, say if it was like the draft back when we got Sam, like the year before last, where it was like Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis, that awful draft. I know Brock Purdy went last in that draft, but still, then yeah, it's a completely different conversation, but it's still Caleb Williams, guys. It's still Caleb Williams at 1. The thing that makes it hard is that Justin Fields has looked good that second half of the season. It's like Washington was the catalyst for the Bears. Washington was the catalyst for DJ Moore popping off and hitting that touchdown season prop for me on Underdog Fantasy. Appreciate that. And then Justin Fields just turning into a baller. Like once they played us, the Bears just took off. And that's the team we're not trying to be moving forward. But that's what it took. But I just, it's hard when you have players in the locker room saying, we want Justin Fields. When DJ Moore is saying, I want Fields to come back, and Poles talked about, he said, yes, I really want the locker room to be together. I want the guy that we have as our quarterback to have that locker room together. But at the same time, he has to take the emotion side of it and keep that business aspect there. It's his job. If they keep Justin Fields and they just keep losing and Caleb Williams turns into some great quarterback here in Washington or whatever, he loses his job. So you have to separate that, the business side of thing and then the emotion side of thing as well. And that I would hate to be Poles because he has a big decision to make. Ellison said, not that moving around isn't needed, but have you seen the video of Caleb throwing from the pocket consistently? That's the thing. I have seen, if you watch, just watch games start to finish. Like I've watched that Notre Dame game probably 3 times already. There's times where he's throwing from the pocket, but that's where people have to realize context. How much is Riley's offense moving the pocket? There's teams that just do it. Lamar Jackson does it a lot. It's because, one, they are dangerous on the feet, so you don't want to take that aspect away from them. But also some offenses just call, and we did it with Sam Howell this season a good bit too, where he just instantly RPOs, you're rolling out, you're doing some kind of boots, anything like that. It is an actual offense to where you come outside and it's mostly because you're scheming guys open. You're cutting the field in half. You're looking for those open zones at the first level, second level, third level. You're waiting, like I said, mostly like meshes and stuff like that, waiting for crossers, stuff like that. Someone's going to be open. Whether you want to get the ball out fast and set up a deep ball, something like that. It's not just like Drake May. He was in a pro style offense at North Carolina. Very pro style. I love that. You go to the Senior Bowl. I remember talking to a quarterback. I'm not going to say his name. He was drafted by the Titans. And he was like, the hardest thing for me here is snapping under center. I've never done it before. I'm like, and people forget, in college, you aren't under center. You're not running a pro style offense. You're back there in shotgun. You're looking at the defense the whole time. You're looking at it. You're gauging it. You get the snap. Your eyes are staying on the defense the whole time. You're waiting for it to develop. When you go to the pros, and I know it's gone down over the years, but you still have to do it. And you're still in a pro style offense. You're under center. You're looking. You're reading. You're snapping. You're turning your back. You're faking the handoff. Now that your back has been faced to the defense, things have changed. That blitzer, he dropped back. That guy that corner that looked like he was in man, he's blitzing you now. Things change when you turn your back. Now you have to come up and you're resetting. So it's like new slide. Okay, now what do I see? And that's the thing that these quarterbacks struggle with a lot at the Senior Bowl and struggle a lot with going to the NFL. So that's why I do have a big weight for Drake May, because he's done that. He's had to go under center. And it seems like it's a so stupid small thing, but I promise you it is just monumental to these quarterbacks. And because I remember Malik Willis was like, dude, I'll name him. It's Malik Willis. He was like, dude, I've never gone under center. I've never run a pro style. Why? Because he was so dangerous with his feet. But then also in college, you just don't do it a lot. You're not going to ask a quarterback to do all that. It's just not necessary. Snap it, hike it, look at it, throw a quick pass, hand it off, whatever. That's not what you do in college. So it's a different game in the pros. Different game. And that's one thing, talking to like Jordan Reed for ESPN, I had him on here a couple times, but the thing that the one that stuck out to me was the draft with Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, all of them. And he just really broke down like the quarterback position, how he evaluates it for me. And like, I learned so much from him on that one. Can we get a second for John Allen? I think you can get, like I said, I'm going to do a more in-depth stream next week on Bleacher Report for this one. I think you're looking at like a late second, early third for John Allen. And I have like 2 or 3 teams that I'm looking at. There's plenty of film of him playing in the structure of the offense and in the pocket. Talk about Caleb. Yeah. Like I said, it just, sometimes he's not asked to, sometimes he's asked to. And they had a lot of drops this year too. The Bears aren't fleecing us. David Tepper doesn't own the Commanders. Yeah, we're not throwing drinks on anybody. Caleb looks like a bigger, better Kyler Murray to me. And honestly, like when Kyler's on, though, Kyler's on. But I think the thing you're going to hear a lot of, like Pat Mahomes, because of that off-script ability. Caleb is like the best when it comes to that off-script ability. When it comes to like arm angles, when it comes to release, that flick, that's the plays that just stand out to me where I'm like, he's special. Where you do see the ones. It's not pro days. It's not practice where he's rolling out, he's on the run, and he's throwing it like cross body, and he's like manipulating his arm angles. He's manipulating his elbow, stuff like that, like mechanically on the run, like midair. And like I said, it's not like a pro day where you remember Zach Wilson in gym shorts throwing it like 60 yards deep, and people are like, oh my God, well, what a throw. He's doing this in game, and he's completing them for big plays. So I think Caleb has that big, upside to him with that. This is all things Adam Peters is going to evaluate. He's going to evaluate Caleb. He's going to evaluate Drake. He's going to evaluate Sam. Like, he's going to evaluate every aspect. Daniels, the thing with Jaden Daniels is he's great with his legs. He's inconsistent when he is in the pocket, though. I will say Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. were amazing wide receivers that were open a lot. Jaden Daniels, whenever he's moved off his spot, he's not good. He actually only threw it 20% in college, which was the lowest in all of FBS, which is bad. I think the average, in the NFL is like high 40, maybe 50. It's where you're like moved off your spot in the pocket and you have to reset, throw the ball. He tends to just tuck it and go, which is fine. Because like I said, he has really special legs. But at the same time, when he's asked to constantly be in the pocket, go through his progressions, he struggles. He's inconsistent. He's a great athlete. He's a special player. But once again, that, like I was just talking about a few minutes ago with that whole transition to a pro style, and Lamar had to do it too. And Lamar has done an excellent job at adapting, going from that college, street ball style offense to now, like, you have to settle in and become more of a pocket passer. And Lamar's, done a great job. MVP, probably going to win it again this year. That's the transition Jaden Daniels is going to have to go through. But he's still going to use his legs. And he's still going to be dangerous with his feet, which makes him a really special player. Let's see. TC Stone said, Ben Johnson as head coach, Mike McDonald's assistant head coach in DC, Randall L. as offensive coordinator. I just don't see Mike McDonald leaving Baltimore with what he's got going on with that defense. If he did, it would have to be, if he was going anywhere, honestly, I would think he would have to be the head coach. Do I think we're keeping Eric Bieniemy? If I had to say today, I'm going to say no. I'm going to be honest with you. And we haven't heard a single team say they requested to interview Eric Bieniemy. Haven't heard a single thing. That's all I'm going to say. You heard my boy Sam Cosmi was talking in the locker room like, we didn't run the ball enough. We should have ran the ball more. I think Sam Cosmi is like, bro, I don't want this Eric Bieniemy offense anymore, man. He's like, we all wanted to run the ball more. We didn't. Caleb's Notre Dame game was ugly. So many screens that made too many misreads and trying to keep the play alive, look flashy. So yeah, first half was really bad. Second half got better. There was some big drops in the Notre Dame game, but honestly, that Notre Dame defense, that secondary is ridiculous. And I mean, yeah, no player's going to have the perfect, every game you're like, yo, this guy's just perfect. Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably the one right now. There's not one game. I mean, there's not one player we're just like, oh my God, the film's just flawless. Especially from the quarterback aspect. I'm not saying Caleb's the perfect prospect, but it's just the upside and what you can do with Caleb that makes him the prospect he is. Your job as a scout is to say, look, this is what he can do. This is what he can do. Do you want this player? And it does. Once again, context matters. You have to look at his defense. You have to look at the scheme he was in. You have to look at his offensive line. You have to look at his weapons. You have to look at how he performed on the road, how he performed at home, how he performed against, top competition, something that people bring up all the time. There's a lot of different things in context and different critical factors. You want to look at how his mental processing, his physical toughness. There's a lot. It's not just, let me watch a highlight and see how Caleb throws the ball. You write down your notes, you write down the good, the bad. Like there's so much to it. I think I want to bring y'all more like on that side of things when I do these breakdown videos too. Not just saying like, all right, Caleb's looking. Oh, that was a good pass. Yep, he completed it. Gain of 30. Oh, he threw an interception. Like, no, that was ugly. Like, why? Why did he throw that pass? Like, what? Like, I want to break down things more deeper, y'all. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Caleb's really good and can make all the plays though. His height is conserving. Yeah, his height's not a red flag, but it's yellow. Pete, I guess talking about Pete Carroll be head coach. I think he's just moving up into more of a business role with the Seahawks. I don't see him coaching. I think he's just going to have a kind of like Nick Saban. They're going to put Nick up in an office at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I think they'll do the same for Pete Carroll. Caleb Williams or Drake May. I'm going to surprise you and say both. Both. I like both. I'm higher on both of those than Jaden Daniels by a good bit. I like Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to need some time. If D'Amico Ryans wasn't the head coach in Houston, he'd be a top candidate for Alabama. I would love it. That just feels right. That needs to happen. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been live for an hour now. Y'all been killing it. Shout out to everybody that's become members today. Like I said, I just opened that up this week. Appreciate everyone. Jerome, Mikey, those Hailskins are young. I think I said Merle. If I left you out, Life, No Life. Appreciate y'all. It's gonna be a crazy off season. Like I said, I'm going to the Senior Bowl in 2 weeks. If there's a player you want me to look for and you're a member, like y'all have top priority for me. If there's a certain player you want me to watch, if you want videos of a certain player in practice, if you want interviews of a certain player asking about Washington, stuff like that, what context they've had, anything like that, let me know. Like I said, I'll be there all week long for that. I'm going to be out there. I'll be at the draft. Like I said, I might go to some pro days. Haven't decided yet. Might go to the combine. Haven't decided on that yet either. But y'all know me. I'll be at training camps. I'll be at everything I can get my hands on. Just because I'm in Texas, that doesn't mean anything. But I'm going to be bringing a lot of exclusive videos. So from now to free agency, I'm going to be breaking down big-time targets. I would love to hear. Guys, we have the most salary cap projection. These aren't final numbers. $85 million, the number one in the NFL right now, according to Spot Track. The number one salary cap. And I think second, either first or second in draft capital, like how important it is. So guys, don't forget, sign up. It's only $2.99 a month. You're going to get exclusive videos, breakdowns, in-depth stuff. If you're a Washington fan, this is the best offseason you will ever be a part of. I'm excited for it. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Adam Peters is our GM. See y'all next time. Peace.